What's good? It's your boy Sports Dad. We back with another live session, and in this session, we're going to interview my guy Josh Kulka, Wayne State's very young starting QB. And boy, did we actually get into it, and it was an excellent interview. So I really hope you enjoy this. Let's go. All right, man. So, well, first things first. I told you guys once again that I was going to be catching up with some of the best players in the Macomb area and Clinton Township area and whatnot. And so I caught up with this guy, Josh Kulka, and former quarterback at Chippewa Valley or whatnot. He was doing great things there, but then went over to, was recruited by Wayne State, and now he's the starting QB at Wayne State or whatnot. So we're going to jump into his career, his college career. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to ask him some questions. But he's here with us. What's up, Josh?
What's up? It means a lot that you think I'm one of the best from Macomb, you know?
Oh.
I mean, it means a lot.
Oh.
But, no, I've been doing good. Loving Wayne, so.
That's what's up. Yeah, man, like, I mean, you are one of the, the best athletes over here, man. Like, you're an athlete, you know what I mean? And so, like, and one of the best ones. So, absolutely, I got to, give you your credit and give credit to where credit is due. And so, but I want to jump right into it. Going from your high school career or whatnot, you didn't get a lot of opportunity as a quarterback because, there was a lineage of quarterbacks that were there prior.
Right.
And so that's that was the challenge. But I guess it's kind of giving you a taste of that college life, eh?
Right. I think I kind of came into college. There was a 6-year senior there.
Right.
So true freshman year, even though coach kind of came with me and said hey, you earned the starting spot, but he's 6-year senior. We're gonna end up giving it to him.
Right.
It was just kind of similar. I couldn't. I wouldn't say I was better than Tommy, but I would just say I was kind of changing up positions and stuff just because I wanted to see the field, and he was already there. He had established his spot.
Right.
So I kind of didn't get my chance until my senior year for real. Kind of came into Wayne. You kind of come in as the youngest guy.
Right.
Everyone there is already established where they're at.
Right.
All that stuff. So kind of coming in, you kind of have to really earn your stripes.
Absolutely. So just with that situation alone, being with a great quarterback, competing, for a spot, going up against a guy like Tommy Schuster, you know what I mean? That was definitely getting you ready for the college, life
right.
or whatnot.
Yeah.
And because, at the next level is nothing but competition, right? And competing for a spot. So you go in, you get recruited, not really knowing, did you know that you was going to get an opportunity to really be the guy?
So when I came in, so Coach Reardon was one of the coaches, the quarterback coach at the time, and he had kind of told me, we got the senior, but, I think you can kind of come in and kind of push him and kind of compete for that starting role,
right.
Which is one of the biggest reasons I think I came to Wayne. After kind of going through high school, I only played quarterback my freshman and senior year, so,
right.
I really didn't play a whole lot of quarterback in
right.
high school.
Right.
So just kind of hearing that and, saying that, you can kind of come in and push the starter already as a true freshman.
Right.
Not come kind of like some of the other colleges coming in we got this guy, so, you'll redshirt this year and then you'll come in next year. And they just kind of said, no, if you get the spot, you're you can start, you can play this year. If not, then we'll redshirt you, but you kind of you're going to be coming in kind of in that competition. So I don't know, that was one of the biggest reasons that kind of pushed me to Wayne, because I was my whole life it's kind of been I was always kind of not second option, but kind of second option,
right.
Always kind of coming in and really have to fight. So I was okay, they kind of already said oh, I have that opportunity already. So that kind of pushed me to go there.
So nice. So after the COVID year, and then now you're going into your redshirt year, how did you get on the field? Because you did manage, to not only get on the field, but you basically was the guy in your redshirt freshman year.
Yeah, for that whole game and a half.
How did you do that? Yeah.
Honestly, you just you work as hard as you can. I know, obviously, I had this great running back roommate. Obviously, I think, I'm not going to name names, but he, I would definitely force him to go to the field every day. I just, football was just kind of my getaway,
Right.
So going to lifts, going to work out, always kind of pushing.
You can pull it, George.
Oh,
Yeah.
like always kind of just pushing yourself to like that hard. Like it was just kind of my getaway. So like everything, like I just loved everything
Right.
around it. And like I would like I said, I'd bring Myron everywhere. Like, all right, Myron, we're gonna go throw like 3-4 times a week. We'd work out 3 days a week. Like
Right.
it was just kind of constant all go, just what you love. And especially with the whole COVID, like we had a lot of time off. Like we didn't really have a whole lot to do. So it was just kind of like always going getting a good regime of going to the field, throwing 3 days a week, throwing every single route 3 days a week, doing like working with quarterback coaches, just kind of that constant work, and just kind of also like really getting the playbook, especially at the quarterback position.
Right.
As a true freshman, you got to come in and learn what some guys have been learning for 5-6 years.
Right.
So
Right.
kind of like it was honestly like I'm not gonna say COVID was like helped me, but it kind of did, because like as soon as kind of my senior year got kind of cut off, I got to sit in meetings. Like Coach Reardon had sent me the Zoom link. We were sitting in meetings. Like I was already learning the playbook then, so I kind of came in kind of almost with almost a year and a half under my belt of learning that playbook.
So I think you said a lot of great things there. So I want to just back up and talk about it a little bit. First, you were talking about the crazy regime that you had, as far as going to the field constantly and and throwing and things like that, telling your friends like, hey, come up to the field with me and things like that. Like, where did you get that crazy work ethic from?
100%. I'm gonna say my brother.
Okay.
But I think it kind of stems from our dad. He works really hard. But I think I saw it a lot from my brother, just because, especially once COVID hit,
Yeah.
my brother was home, I was home. We got onto that exact regime where we would go throw and run routes for each other.
Right.
And we'd go through the whole route tree for each other, those outside slot, tight end routes, everything.
Wow.
And we'd do that, and then we'd work out together 3 days a week. So it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'd lift together.
Right.
And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, basically it'd be our running days, because we'd run routes for each other, and our throwing days.
Yeah.
And then Sundays we'd have a day off. And like kind of just the whole kind of through COVID, that's just kind of was like our thing to do,
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I ended up getting that from. And I've just seen, like, my brother's the hardest worker I've ever seen.
So your brother is a quarterback too.
Yeah.
And was previously at Lawrence Tech.
Right.
And where is he now?
So now he's actually playing for the Obik Seagulls over in Japan.
Wow.
As a professional football player. So yeah, he's loving it over there.
Wow.
He's about to try to play, and I think he's just getting his work visa, so we might be able to play in the championship game in their spring season pretty soon here. So he's looking forward to that.
Wow. Shout out to Tyler Kulka doing his thing, man.
Oh yeah.
So was it tough, coming up in a situation like that where your brother was a quarterback already, at the college level and pretty successful on his way, to doing his pro thing or whatnot, where he currently is right now. Did that have any pressure on you?
I wouldn't say it had any pressure. I would say it honestly just pushed me more. Like me and him have always been super supportive of each other. Like there's never bone any jealousy, anything like that. Like
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of like we would just push each other. Like, once he did well, I was like, okay, now I want to go up and like I want to do exactly what he did or better.
Yeah.
It was never like, oh, I got all this pressure. I'll be like, okay, now I want to step up. Like it almost made me feel like, oh, if he can do this, then I can for sure do it. Like I've worked with him all summer. I know like if he makes this throw, I can make that throw.
Right,
so it's just kind of more like that. Like it was just more like that excitement competition.
Okay, yeah, because the only reason why I asked because I know how intense he is. And watching. He understands like the science of football, and like your family does in general. So, another question I wanted to ask, hit on a point you made was you talked about learning the playbook. How important was that for your success to be able to get on the field your redshirt freshman year?
I would say it's almost more important than all my throwing and workouts. Like yes, college. You're coming in, you might be the smallest guy as a freshman, but you can be the biggest guy. You could be big, the most athletic guy, and I've seen it countless times, like time and time again.
Right.
We have the most athletic guys, the biggest, strongest, whatever.
Right. Wow.
If they're not doing the right things, if they're just out there, like running in circles, then like they can't get on that field, and especially at the quarterback position.
Right.
Like you need to know almost what everybody does on the field.
Absolutely.
Like, and I remember it was really hard at first. Like I remember very first meeting. Like you just got thrown in the fire, like especially like Coach, like I told you, Coach Reardon said like you're gonna come in, you're gonna battle for the starting spot.
Right.
So like as soon as like I got put out there, like, he was like, right in that first meeting, he was like, all right, like, I got the playbook 2 days before. It's like over 100 pages.
Wow.
And I'm sitting, like, I'm sitting in this meeting, I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's just going to have me sitting here. I'm not going to be doing nothing. Yeah. No, first 10 minutes. All right, Josh, draw up this play against, like, this coverage and tell me where the ball should go. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I skimmed I haven't even opened the playbook for real. Like, I printed it out and that was it. Like, absolutely. So it was just like you really get thrown in the fire and stuff, and they're just expecting you to, like, no, you should know this, like, yeah. And I think it's just especially just the most important, because if you know what you can do, because there's 6-year guys that still don't even understand the playbook. Right. If you can come in as a freshman and, like, you know where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, yeah, I think you could play no matter the physical anything.
Wow. So red shirt freshman year, the 6th year senior he just wasn't getting it done. Mm-hmm. And so you're in a game situation, and they put you in, and you tore it up. You know, you were on your way to having a level of success. Like, what was going through your mind at that particular point, that when you actually got in the game, and not only did you get in the game, but you were affecting the game at a high level, to the point where that you were on the road to having a successful season. So, like, what was going through your mind at that particular point?
Honestly, I was just having fun. Like, I couldn't even. I was out there just with the boys. You know, like I said, like, all of COVID, you know, that's all I thought about. Yeah. Every single day, all I was thinking about was like, oh, I can't wait to play football. Like, I can't wait to be in a game. You know, like I said, with that whole workout regime, with all those meetings, you're watching film. Like, there's nothing, like, none of that comes close to being in a real game. Like, actually, you have the pads on, you have the jersey, and you're playing against not your own team, not at practice. Like, nothing beats it. Like, you're just having fun, and, like, right. I think that's, like, one of my most favorite things. Like, when you get in a game, like, everything just leaves your mind. Like, wow. I feel like I just think, like, it's just so clear. Everything is just like, all right, like, this is what we got to do. Right. And especially that season, like, I don't know, I was just so excited, and I was just so happy just to finally be in there. Right. You know, like, I was just like, I was sitting there, you know, I got my shot. My shot, like, better not screw it up, you know, and it was just, it was fun, you know. I was bringing him up Myron, but, like, he kind of came to me after, because he got to play the very first game, that I didn't get to play in, and he came up to me, he's like, dude, it's not like, everyone says it's a big jump. No, like, this is just like high school. So it was hilarious. I got to go in. I was like, I came back to I'm like, yeah, it is, Myron. It is, you know. It's fun having that moment with him. It was just so much fun, you know. It's just like, you're like, I don't know, like, for me, like, it wasn't, like, yeah, like, I guess after the game, I was like, oh, like, I guess I had a good game or whatever, but, like, it was just kind of, like, in the moment, like, you're just having fun. Like, I was just thinking, like, finally, I'm playing football. Wow. Like, I'm not practicing, I'm not throwing routes on air, like, I'm actually out here playing football, because, like, you know, the workouts, the routes on air, they kind of suck sometimes, but they're fun at other times, but it's once you get in that game, you finally get to, like, all right, like, I've done this, so, you know, I've worked hard for this, like, this is what I can do. Right.
So you're in the game, and, you know, you're going crazy, man. Like, I mean, you're ripping them apart. Like, you're, as you said, you were having fun. And then when watching you play, it literally looked like you were up at the field just, you know, throwing to the boys, right? Mm-hmm. And but you were having a stellar game, man. And then you took off for the run, right? You took off for the run, and bam, you know, it was a collision. And then, boom, you were out for the rest of the season. Yeah. Like, what happened there?
Well, kind of, I should have listened to my coaches. Ever since high school, they've always told me, you know, you're a quarterback, don't lower your shoulder. You're a quarterback, slide, go out of the way, move, like, you know, don't run over people. Right. And, you know, it was definitely, I had to learn my lesson. You know, I think I'd gotten away with it the week before, you know, that made a big highlight play trucking a guy, and I just, you know, thought I could, you know, felt invincible, you know, felt like I could do anything. Like you said, I was having a pretty good game, so I just kind of was feeling good about myself, you know. Right. Time was running down. There was like 10 seconds on the clock before halftime, and thought like, all right, I'm on the 2-yard line. I'm gonna take it to this low corner. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it to him. We're gonna score. It's gonna be a huge thing. We're gonna go up by a couple scores right before half. Right. It's gonna be big. And it really taught me, like, it could, like, as much fun, like I said, like, I was having so much fun. Like you said, it looked like I was having, you know, up there with the boys, which is why that work is so important. But it was just fun for me, and just, I don't know, like, it can really get taken away in that instant. Wow. So, you know, like, one play.
Yeah, so what was the injury?
I tore my PCL.
Oh man,
So
PCL.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, so you tore your PCL and was out for the rest of the season
Yeah.
to allow that to heal and get better. So next season rolls around, right? And so well, first of all, let me ask you this: how did you get through that injury from a mental perspective?
And the biggest thing is probably God and kind of the old saying, like, control the controllables, you know? Big component was God. I remember when I found out I was going to be out for the season, like,
right.
I almost tried arguing with the trainers, like, no, I could, if you guys said this many weeks, that means I can come right back for Ferris. I was like, they were like, no, that's when you'll be, like, okay to run. You're not going to be able to take hits at this week. I'm like, no, like, I can do it, like, what, like,
right.
arguing with them. And then I remember, like, it was really tough. I remember getting in the car. Myron had driven me because I couldn't drive with my leg.
Yeah.
And I remember just kind of broke down crying with him. And, you know, we'd said a little prayer. Like, it was definitely, like, God. And I think I'm going to throw Myron, like, friends. Like, Myron had gone through an injury. And it was just kind of doing that. And then just kind of figuring, like, all right, like, kind of control the controllables and mixture with God. Like, all right, God's, like, if I can control what I control, God will take care of the rest.
Wow.
Like, if I do what I can do. I'm going to do my rehab. I'm going to work out my upper body. Like, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to watch film, you know, kind of get ready as much as I can at that point.
Right.
God's going to take control for the rest of it. Like, he's going to look out for me. He's going to know what's best for me.
Right.
And, you know, this is, you know, it's a lesson for him, so.
Wow. That's awesome. Be able to have, you know, someone that could bear the burden with you and that can encourage you during those times. So, you go through the rest of the season, taking care of that injury, getting your recovery. Then the next season roll around, right? And so they're expecting big things from you, right?
Yeah.
You know, and you are expecting big things as well. But the season didn't go as planned, right?
Right.
You know, and watching you out there, you no longer looked like you were having fun. What happened?
I think it's just, first off, it's never fun to lose.
Right.
Let's just say that. And it's never fun to lose, and just, I don't know, it was just tough, you know, like, I felt like just kind of in my body started, you know, kind of shutting down. I was getting hit a lot. Like, it was just kind of, it started just kind of more becoming like, all right, like, we got to make it through this next game. Like, every Sunday I was icing, like, every part of my body.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
I think it started off like just you're fighting as hard as you can, and it just doesn't seem like anything's working out, you know?
Right.
And I'm not even saying, like, I know I made a lot of mistakes that season. You know, like, I think I came on a high horse. You know, I think we all kind of did. We were getting Myron, we were getting Miles back, like, a lot of people back from, like, injury, all this stuff. We were kind of coming back on this high horse, and I think it kind of hit us like a 2x4 to the face. Like, it was kind of hit us hard, and
right.
we were just like, oh, like, this is not going to be as you know, much of a cakewalk as we thought. And then, I don't know, it just felt like the whole season, like, just nothing was ever enough to win games, you know? Like, all these games like, it wasn't even like we were getting blown out. We were losing games by one score, coming down to, like, those last 2 minutes almost every game. It's just like, it was just kind of draining to kind of lose by that like, one score, like,
right.
like 6 out of our, like, 9 losses, you know, like,
right.
losing by one score, you just start to get drained, and it's just like, you try as hard as you can, and it's just, you know, just is not working out. It just starts to frustrate you a little bit.
Right. So do you think, from a quarterback perspective, do you think that, like, not do you think, but what was your mindset when you were, you know, behind the center, you know, calling your cadence? Did you feel like that, you know, that you were, was there a large percentage of your brain saying that I'm going to get hit?
I would say maybe not hit. I try not to think about the negatives, but most of the time I'd always try to be like, I'd be like, okay, so by the end of the season I would be like, all right, I got this guy, I got this, like, I look at the defense, I'm like, okay, this is what coverage I think they're in.
Right.
I'm gonna look here. If he's not open, like, I'm looking for a way to escape.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of more what I ended up doing, which is not good. It's not what I should have trusted my teammates. You know, that was just kind of the young quarterback, the young mistake in my mind. Because, like, there was times where I could have stayed in the pocket. But like I said, it's definitely a mistake on my mind. But like I said, like, you know, you get hit enough. And I remember the first game I kind of suffered a little injury, just kind of, I think, might have pulled a hammy a little bit. So I was just kind of nursing that a little bit. And it's just like, like I said, it's not fun getting hit.
Yeah.
So it's just like you kind of nursing injuries left and right, and like I said, it was immature of me. But that's kind of what I started doing. I was like, all right, like they're in a 2 high. It's cover 4. If we have a post, I'm gonna look there. If not, let me try to see if I can make something happen. And that was kind of what it started resorting to. And I remember I got yelled at a lot by coaches. Just like, oh, look at this play. You could stay in the pocket.
Right.
So like I just, really immature of me. But I definitely was just thinking like, all right, this is what I think they're in. This is the guy that I think is gonna be open. If not, like let me try to escape or find a nice check down.
Well, here's your opportunity to talk to the fans, right? Because sitting in the fans, a lot of people obviously they had high hopes, right?
Yeah.
And but the question is, were you the one to blame?
I mean, I'm always gonna take the blame.
Okay.
You're a quarterback. You touch the ball every play. I can't make excuses about anything. Like, I threw interceptions at times in games that were crucial. I threw pick sixes, and I think I threw 3 pick sixes on little screen passes. And like I said, it's always on me. I feel like any athlete should feel like it's always on them. Like no one ever has a perfect game.
Right.
And I feel like, especially at the quarterback, all eyes are on you. You're the one that these coaches are putting their trust in, giving the ball to every single play, whether it's run, pass, whatever. It's always on me.
Wow. Well, at the end of the season, Coach Winters gets fired.
Right.
Right. Wayne State parts ways with him, and how do you think that affected the team, or do you think that played a part in what was really happening that season?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I guess we'll find out this season. I think getting fired was a big shock to everyone.
Right.
I think when they kind of just randomly scheduled a meeting one night and said he got fired. It was like a big shock to everyone. No one really was expecting it.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I think the team. I think after going 1-9, I think we had a lot of guys that were, like kind of happy that Coach Winters got fired, and kind of I remember I was like I was kind of checking guys, and I was like, guys, like obviously like obviously coaches aren't perfect,
right?
But like if you're gonna say like that whole season was right on them, like there was plays that. I feel like I don't know. I was trying to like say like, hey guys, take some take some responsibility.
Yeah.
Like yes, the coaches. Maybe the coaches didn't call the right play here. Maybe the coaches didn't do that. Nobody's gonna be perfect. But if you didn't run every play perfectly, it's kind of like Jesus is when the lady was got thrown down. He's like, all right, whoever hasn't sinned can throw the first stone.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
no, like I don't know, like I feel like a lot of them weren't really thinking like, oh, like this guy just lost his job. Like a lot of these guys just lost jobs. Like they got families and stuff.
Right.
And like they were like, oh no, like it's good. And I remember like I was trying to like check some guys, like obviously like I'm not gonna say like they were perfect, but. You shouldn't be happy right now. Like, like unless you every single game you didn't have one mistake all game.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like 6 out of our 9 losses came down to one play.
Correct.
Came down to one play. So that's one play. Oh, like, if this guy makes this tackle, that's one play.
Right.
Oh, if I make this throw, that's one play.
Right.
Oh, if like this happens, that's one play. This guy gets this block. All this stuff kind of compounds, but it all like I think this really showed me that it all comes down to one play.
Right.
Which sure, like maybe the coaches are the one play, but like that could have been your one play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why like I remember it was like that, and I don't know, it was definitely tough at first. I think a lot of guys were nervous. With I think the whole Deion Sanders video, like, oh, I'm coming in, I'm bringing my baggage, All these guys were like, oh, we got to get out of here, like, I remember talking to a lot of guys, and I remember. Yeah. It was tough. I already had lost, my best friend, my roommate, to the transfer portal, and, his brother, and we'd already lost a couple other guys. But I remember I got on the phone with Kendall, number 4 from Wayne, and I got on the phone with him, and we were just talking. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, especially at quarterback, like, I feel like a lot of coaches really like to have their own guys, especially at that, like, quarterback's an important position. Right. There's only one of you guys, and you touch the ball every play, like. Absolutely. That's why, like, I know a lot of guys like to have their own guys there. So, it's just kind of was tough, and just kind of thinking. I remember talking to him, and he was like, "No, like I'm with you." Like I was like, "I'm riding it out." I remember talking. Coach Robinson was the new interim head coach. I remember having a lot of like conversations with him. And he was like, just stay, ride it out, And it was hard because like even if I wanted to leave, I had a year before I graduated from like mechanical engineering. So like, I didn't know like if I transferred, are all those credits gonna go with me? Like, what's gonna happen with all that? Like as of right now, after these 2 summer classes, I have 4 classes and I'm done. I graduate. So it's just kind of like I was sitting here. I was like, gosh, like if I transfer, am I gonna need a whole nother year? Is that all these credits gonna transfer? Like, what's gonna end up happening? Like, I was like, I feel like it just worked better if I stayed, finished out, and then kind of test my options. So yeah, a lot of unknowns in that kind of time. It was really tough, and kind of talking with a lot of guys on the team. Yeah. Like just kind of like because if I was staying, I was like, guys, come on, like let's just like let's work. Like we got this together, Right. So, it was definitely like a hard time, just a lot of unknowns, but I think I'm gonna go back to like just kind of praying with God, like kept getting like just stay where you're at, like you're okay. Like I know it's tough right now. I know there's a lot of unknowns, but like just stay where you're at, So I was like, okay, like it's tough, like because these new coaches come in, and I could just be pushed to the side, I could just be like, and nobody, they could be like, they can come in like, yeah, I'm bringing my own quarterback in, you better leave, or whatever. And like I said, we cut a ton of people this summer. Like we cut a ton of people. Like so, it could have been me in that situation. So a lot of unknowns, a lot of scary parts. But I remember talking to a lot of guys on the team, like, and they were scared too. And talking to a lot of these guys, and I was like, no, like we got this. And I remember pulled a lot of guys together, and we got a lot of guys to skate. But I remember a lot of guys being scared at first, just because of all that, just because of how the transfer portal is now. Like everyone seems to just kind of, if they're not playing right away, they just instantly can go into it. Like I remember, kind of talking with Myron about it, like I remember he was saying like when the Division I transfer portal opened up, like I can't remember the number, but it was like a crazy amount of kids had entered, like more than ever. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just tough. It was a scary time, but new coaches came in, and I don't know, I've been loving it. So
cool, man, cool. So what do you guys? Wow, it's It's just interesting to hear it from, from your perspective to, from the inside on how things was happening when the transition, from Coach Winters to, to the new coach now, from the interim coach to the new coach. So what should we expect from Josh this season?
I'm expecting big things. I mean, I always expect big things out of myself, but I think especially after last year, I realized, like after having that game and a half, I did really well, like you said, and like I said, I don't know, maybe I took it a little too for granted, for the next year, or something, but I'm just ready. Like I'm not losing again. Like I can't go through another year like that. I'm ready. I've been learning this new offense, and I love it. Like it's a lot more fun. The quarterback has a lot more responsibility, a lot more decision making, right, which is a lot more fun for me. A lot of RPOs, some triple option thrown in there. It's going to be fun, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really exciting. I think we're going to put up some crazy numbers, and it's fun watching us now, like with this new offense. Just kind of like even on bad plays, we're getting 4 yards, which I felt like sometimes last year, like if one guy missed a block, we were getting like negative yards, right, and now like we have like we're missing blocks and stuff, and we're getting still like 3-4 yards, wow. So it's like it's just fun. It's just exciting. It's a very offense that you make big plays in, so it's just kind of fun.
Yeah, man. What advice do you have for young recruits that are trying to transition from high school to college, have an opportunity to play at the next level?
Just kind of like don't look at like, oh, like this is a Division I program, I have to go here. Right. Like kind of go for the best spot for you. Like get where you're gonna get on the field. That's the most important part. Because guess what? If you have the talent, they're gonna find you. Like I was saying, like my brother went to LTU, had 1 winning season the entire time he was there. He was doing his thing, and now he's making over 6 figures playing football in Japan. Like, if that's really what you want to do, like go to the best. That's an NAI school, brand new. Like just this first year, that was their first year of having a football program. And it's just like, I think a lot of guys kind of get caught up in that. And I remember talking to guys, and like all these guys that have gone like Division I or big time, whatever, and they're like, they never see the field and they don't get to play. But if they had gone like, Division II, like our conference is putting people into the NFL. Absolutely. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of guys don't realize like that. Like, and these NFL scouts, if you're good enough, if you have the talent, they're going to find you. If like that's your end goal, like, they're gonna find you if you have it. Like, it doesn't, like, yes, it helps maybe if you're at a Division I program, but if you're not gonna be like the guy at a Division I program, or a Division II program, be the guy. Stand out there. They're gonna come see you. You know what I mean? Like, and just kind of, I remember I kind of went through the whole process with my brother after this last season, just because, you know, I went to some of the camps, recorded videos, all this stuff, and like, there's a lot of places where you can make a good amount of money playing football, you know, and it's just like, you know, just like, don't ever like give up, and don't ever just kind of like I said, you also don't, like, you know, I didn't play quarterback to my senior year. Like, you know, you're not always going to be in the best situation. Make the best out of every situation. And if a coach tells you something, just listen to him. You know, if they're going to put you in another position, listen to them. You know, they know the best. You know, they've put guys in college, or they've put guys, you know, through college. Like, listen to them. They're going to know what's best for you.
Wow, man, that's dope, man. That's great advice. Josh, man, thank you for stopping by today, man, and talking with us today, giving us that information. It was a great interview, and I think this is going to help a lot of people.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. So much fun.
Listen, I really hope you enjoyed that session. Be on the lookout for more interviews and more content. If you want to know more about recruiting and what it's like on the inside, make sure that you stay tapped in with me.